I enjoyed your talk, and I should preface this by saying that I'm totally sympathetic to all the things that you're pointing out. One of the things I've always struggled, though, in the climate change debate is the way emissions are outsourced. And if I just pulled up this study, it says that the U.S. outsources about 11% of its emissions. Japan outsources nearly 18%, and European nations outsource anywhere from 20 to 50%. I think you can make a pretty compelling case that as more stringent carbon emission standards have been put in place in Europe, they've been outsourced in a lot of cases. And without a change in consumption patterns, it's really just sort of shifting where the manufacturing is actually taken place. At the same time, the implications of that are quite radical in terms of changes in consumption patterns. So I was sort of wondering your thoughts about that, and whether you think that these issues aren't accounted for in the public debate, and also maybe how to address this kind of global commons problem that seems very difficult if you can't get cooperation from the Chinese, from countries that are still mired in pretty extreme poverty. How can we move forward on these issues? And does it make any sense for the United States to take action if these emissions are just going to be outsourced?
Where do I start? You, I think, have struck on something that is incredibly challenging. It played, actually, I think, quite a prominent role in the debate over climate that played out in the House and the Senate over the last couple of years. And at this point in time, the decision was not yet. We're not ready. The United States is not willing. The political will does not exist to step out as a leader, to step out as certainly not the first to try to work toward a comprehensive, meaning nationwide, which is where we have that jurisdiction approach to reducing carbon pollution. And the decision was in part, there was a lot of conversation about, well, they're just going to outsource jobs to China. They're just going to build coal plants in China. We're going to export our coal to China. There was a lot of talk about China and India in this. China's brought on more renewable energy. It's pretty amazing what they're doing. So I think that there are some misperceptions in in public dialogue about what's actually happening in China. They are building coal plants, and they will be a problem. But they are also investing massive resources into renewable energy. But yes, who's going to lead? Who's going to take the first step? And I think, again, there are arguments from a lot of different perspectives. One of the normative sort of moral components is that the United States has contributed to about a quarter of global emissions in the last 150 years, and we are about 5% of the population. So when you look at that, one could argue, and there are other perspectives, but you could argue that this nation has a unique responsibility to step out as a leader in the solution, as well as we have led in the pollution. So.